Welcome to another episode of Core Discussions. My name's Legacy.
And my name's Max.
And we're here today to discuss Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness.
And you might be asking yourself, hey, where's everybody else? Well, of Core Discussions, Legacy and I are the only two that have seen it, so therefore, we're the only two that can review it.
The rest are being lame, and they just didn't want to see it for whatever reason. But whatever.
We'll review it for you. And just to let everyone know, if you haven't seen it, go see it, because we will spoil stuff.
Yep. Unless you don't mind it being spoiled, then that's fine. This is your warning. So, we're just going to get into our general thoughts. What'd you think, Max?
I thought it was a good movie. I know and when it first came out, people were saying it had mixed reviews. So, I think some people were kind of worried that this one would kind of be a subpar entry, but I still think it was a pretty good film. Certainly better than the first Doctor Strange. And if you want to know where I rank it, as far as all the Marvel movies go, you'll have to wait till we review all the Marvel movies, which is coming up soon.
We're filming that in about 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yep.
2 weeks. It probably is not going to come out till like a month and something.
Yeah, there's 28 movies, so it's going to take a minute to talk about all that.
Yep. But it'll be good, and it's going to have everybody's opinion. So several of them, I think, have to watch still quite a bit of movies. But
yeah, Jacob hasn't seen about 7 or 8 of these, so.
And we planned this back in November, and he still hasn't seen 8, so.
You got some homework to do, Jacob.
But let's get into this movie. Alright, so we start off with the wedding scene. I think it's kind of interesting that guy who talks to Strange about how he was the one who gave the time stone up. And I was like, okay, is this general knowledge? Like, I guess people just know what happened or not.
Apparently, I didn't know this. I had to look this up afterwards. That guy who talked to him at the wedding was one of his co-workers when he was a doctor.
I mean, I know he said something. The way he was talking to him seemed like he knew him, so I figured it was something like that. But it goes to him and Palmer, Dr. Palmer.
Actually, the movie opened up with the
Sorry, yeah, I forgot they were running,
Yeah, the other version of Doctor Strange is running with who we find out to be America Chavez. They're running away from this weird monster creature. Doctor Strange tries to steal Chavez's powers. And it's not our Doctor Strange, it's another multiverse's Doctor Strange. He looks a little different, longer hair, different costume, but he tries to steal her powers to save the multiverse. But he gets killed by this creature. I don't even know what you call it. It's just this weird looking thing. And then America Chavez kind of uses her power. She doesn't mean to. She doesn't know how to control it. And then she portals out into another multiverse, which is then our MCU universe. That's what she goes to. And there she finds our Doctor Strange. Yeah,
I think the creature, because it was interesting because the creature was the same creature from, if you watch any of the What If series, it was in the What If with Doctor Strange where
that creature was?
He fights that creature, yeah.
I did not see What If, so I missed that one.
Ooh, the What Ifs were good. Some of them kind of went into it, including later when you had that scene with Captain Britain. That was also in the What If.
Yeah, I knew that was in there. And I know like there's a zombie episode, and I think there's an evil Doctor Strange episode.
Yeah, there's that creature is also in that evil. Yeah, he has a whole thing about him. Yeah, that was pretty interesting and how that wraps up in the character. So it is fairly interesting in hitting the multiverse in that one as well. Yeah, I thought it was cool when you brought in, I think the wraparound of him always having to like the quote Dr. Palmer gives to him of he always had to have the knife, and you see it at the beginning of him always like having to be, because if you remember the first one, there's a point when he's driving and they're talking about well, do you want to do this case? And he's like, no, that's too easy of a case. There's no glamour in that. And then they're like, do you want to do this case? And he turns it down. And he's like, no, there's like very little chance I'll actually save the person. So I don't want to look bad on my like.
Yeah, he wants to look good. He has a little bit of an ego, or even still.
Still, and I think that's been kind of the progression of his character. So then, yeah, the monster scene, that was pretty cool scene.
Oh, are you talking about the second one or the first one?
Both of them.
Yeah.
Both the monster scenes. I think the second one's a little cooler.
Yeah.
It was a little bit longer, but yeah.
there's a wedding scene with Doctor Strange where he's seeing his ex-fiancée getting married, and then he hears a whole bunch of commotion outside, and then of course he sees that the city is in danger, and so he does what superheroes do and takes off his dress shirt and goes into costume. Uses some magic and shows that it's this giant star fish-looking creature with a giant eyeball trying to capture this girl he doesn't know yet, but America Chavez. And he wants to find out why. Eventually they kill the monster, of course. Him and Wong kill the monster. And then after that they try to find out. They find out that the monster has some witchcraft runes on it, which is a callback to WandaVision, if no one has seen that. If you haven't seen WandaVision, you might want to watch WandaVision before you see this movie. Just saying.
Yes. Definitely watch it. Otherwise, you're going to be kind of lost with everything. The girl who plays America Chavez, Miss Gomez. She does a pretty good job, and I like you start hearing about her. She's very lost, and she was pretty good. I liked her. Kind of a nice, quick introduction to her, and then her explaining. I like how they kind of went into the story of explaining she can't really control it yet.
Yeah, because I think, even the actress herself is 16. Yeah. So I think her character is probably around the same age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, characters in high school or middle school.
And they didn't go too in depth with her backstory. Because I know, coming into this, I knew nothing about the character America Chavez. I got to be honest, I don't think I've ever heard of her. But they did enough to where you can understand where she comes from and stuff like that.
I don't think you need to explain every character fully in depth. You get into these alternate universes. So basically they go, at that point, you meet Wanda and where she is. And Doctor Strange does a good job, because I didn't catch it till he said it, that she said her name. And
I caught that one immediately, because I was like, when she said that, because he goes to see Wanda because she knows more about witchcraft than anyone else. He starts talking to her about America Chavez and her ability to go through different multiverses. And Wanda accidentally lets it slip out. She says, I forget the exact quote, but she says her name, America's name.
Yeah, why don't you bring America to here?
That's right. And then, but Doctor Strange had never said her name. So how did Wanda know? Well, come to find out that Wanda was the one who sent the creature to find Miss Chavez. The reason she wants to do that is because she wants to find her kids that were taken from her or she lost in WandaVision.
Yeah, so, which kind of goes into the main plot of what it is basically Wanda trying to get back to the kids and kind of showing you that mother thing of how important that was to her.
So if you missed the end of WandaVision, at the very end of it, you see Wanda in her Scarlet Witch outfit, and she has she's reading the book, what they call the Darkhold, and the last thing she hears is her kids calling for her. And it's heavily implied at the end of WandaVision that she was going to be turning evil, which apparently my wife missed it, because she turned to me, she's like, I hope they don't make Scarlet Witch the villain in this movie. I was like, I told you she would be. And she's in the comics, she turns evil and she does some pretty bad things. So I figure that's where they're going with this one.
Yeah, and just skip forward.
To protect America from falling into Wanda's hands, they try to protect her by bringing her to where if you saw in Doctor Strange, where he was training to be, to control his powers. So they have her stowed away there, and the movie really starts picking up at this point. Guess who comes to get America Chavez? Scarlet Witch is there. She's not playing any games. I was like, if no one knows, in the comics, Scarlet Witch is one of the most powerful characters in the comic books, and they did a good job of showing you just a little bit of what she could do.
In one of the storylines, one of my favorites, I believe, is House of M, where she basically first Magneto gets her to make the whole world mutants. Then at the end, she basically wipes out pretty much every mutant, and there's a small the mutant population lessens from the original. It's a very small population. Her power, she is Omega level.
Yeah.
For those of you who know X-Men and all that, she is an Omega level powers.
But anyway, we won't go through every plot point in the movie, but Wanda eventually takes hold. She defeats all the sorcerers because they have this force field around the whole complex, and Wanda goes OP, and she takes care of that. So she eventually finds... And Sam Raimi, who directed this movie, this is where he started playing into his horror movie background. So because he had some... Wanda coming through water puddles and dragging people through the floor and whispering to people in their ears, kind of in a horror movie fashion. He plays... Sam Raimi then, later on in the movie, plays it up more. But you can start seeing that this is definitely the most horror-esque Marvel movie. Still not scary because, they're not going to make it scary.
It's for kids and families, so... Yeah. They basically defeat her. Then, she comes in and destroys, as last resort, America Chavez gets scared, and that's when her powers activate. It's only when she's scared. She doesn't... So then she freaks out, so Doctor Strange and her get whisked away, leaving Wong, the Sorcerer Supreme Wong, there with her. But they go through multiple realities until they finally land in... which Earth did they say it was? Earth 838. They land in Earth 838 is where they land to go and find Doctor Strange. Originally they were going to look for Doctor Strange for a way to fight her, but also to get a hold of it. And this is also where you find out America Chavez is the only... There's no other versions of her. Right. And it kind of tells you a little bit about... You see a little bit about her backstory when they go through this cool thing where it shows past memories, and it shows how Doctor Strange got his watch. Mm-hmm. And kind of goes through that of why... Because the watch is shown at the very beginning, why it's so important to him. But then they find out that Doctor Strange died, but he died fighting Thanos. Mm-hmm. That one died in Thanos. And then Mordor comes out. And at first, they're like, he's evil. They're thinking he's evil because in this one, he is evil. And for all of you know, for those big Doctor Strange, that is his ultimate bad guy. Granted, we haven't seen them fight yet.
Not yet.
So I'm wondering if they're probably saving that for the third movie or something.
I mean, they have to do it.
You have to do actually them fighting. Because I thought that was what this movie would have been.
Yeah, I thought in the previews, I thought that Mordor was going to be in our universe. Yeah. Oh, we should mention that... Strange and Chavez are looking for this book called Book of Ashanti, which is apparently the antithesis of the Darkhold book. So the Darkhold book is a book of evil. The Book of Ashanti is the book of good or white magic. It gives whoever the thing they need to destroy whatever they're facing. Right.
So you then go in. He ends up tricking them because he realizes he tells Mordor everything. Then he tricks them. They end up in glass ceilings, and then they start finding out about this world and more about the Doctor Strange from that world. Is they find out more when they bring him in front of the Illuminati. For big comic book fans, the Illuminati was created to hold. It actually has Iron Man is actually is in the original version. It was supposed to be like every group, and Namor. It's like every big group, their leader, one representative from every big group. The movie has a different group. I think most of them in this movie aren't really in the Illuminati in the comics. I know a couple of them are, but I think half of them weren't. Because I don't think Captain America's not in it, or Captain Britain's not in it, and Captain Marvel this is not. But I think also they have not introduced the X-Men yet. Right. Well, they haven't. People don't probably know who Namor is, so that's kind of like they're like, let's not touch that because they haven't even talked about in any comic book. So I think that's why they didn't touch him. What they did in this movie, Doctor Strange goes up to Illuminati to kind of he's essentially arrested in this universe because he's not from this universe and he could be dangerous because the Doctor Strange in their universe was dangerous. So they think all Doctor Strangers are dangerous. But anyways, he goes up in front of the Illuminati, which consists of Black Bolt was there. Captain Marvel was there, but played by, in this universe, by Captain Marvel, in our universe's best friend, Maria Rambeau. And then we saw Captain Britain, Peggy Carter. And then we saw... Wait, that was the last one. The last one was Charles Xavier. Reed Richards was there, and that got a good pop in my movie theater because it was played by who a lot of fans have fan casted for years. It was played by John Krasinski. I wouldn't mind if he also directed that movie because he's a pretty good director.
I'm hoping he comes back and hoping he's Reed Richards in the Fantastic Four, because if they cast someone else for the Fantastic Four movie, I think that'd be kind of disappointing.
Yeah, why'd you do it as him? Like, I'm assuming that's who you're gonna do. Same. Because a lot of people have also rumored they wanted to see his wife as Sue Storm.
I can see that.
I think they've done a movie together, and people were like, that would just make sense. But
and then the last one introduced is, of course, Patrick Stewart playing this iconic role of Charles Xavier, and I would probably predict that he's not gonna. That's probably the only time we're gonna see him in the MCU. I would bet.
I think he's probably done with it. But I like he's not in the wheelchair; he's in the hovercraft from the cartoon.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I recognize it right away.
Yeah, and so like this is Earth 838, and like each multiverse, both DC and Marvel, in case you're like don't know, like for those who might just not know, most of you probably do know, each Earth does have each different multiverse. Earth is numbered to something. Yeah. So in DC, I think there's only like 57. There's a lot less. There's like 30 something. Marvel is like 100 something because each one, because they even said the X-Men Origins Wolverine was in like Earth 300 something. It's a bunch.
Yeah, it's not even worth trying to remember because it's just.
Yeah, and each one, kind of the cool thing is how they do it is each one has a different storyline. So that's kind of how they get to, like, if you read the comics, why different ones have different storylines, because there's like a Ultimate Edition of Marvel. If you go to DC, there's an Earth, I think it's like Earth 17 is where the DC animated series takes place. Earth 23 is like supposed to be this like very multicultural Justice League, and it goes into
it's just a comic book way of explaining, hey, this is why the character's different. Yeah, that was the easiest way instead of saying, oh, we just redid the character. Like, oh no, it's a different universe. It's easy that way.
It is. And I think also you gotta remember, because all these stories were written by different people, there are gonna be different takes on it, and it kind of gave them more freedom to explore more than just doing one story.
Yeah, and instead of saying the fans, most fans can be like, okay, different universe, cool, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, I don't know if you caught this. Did you catch the line Professor Xavier said to Strange?
Which one?
He said that just because someone stumbles.
Yes, I love that line because I love the movie.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
So Professor Xavier, all the Illuminati wants to get rid of Strange and keep him locked up and all that, but Xavier says no. I think we need him. I think there's still good in him, and he says a quote that was in X-Men: Days of Future Past. So I caught that reference there too.
If you haven't seen Days of Future Past, please watch it. It's in my opinion, it's probably
the best X-Men movie, if I'm gonna be honest here. But he said that line and I caught it. My wife missed it.
Oh yeah, I remember I caught it. I was like,
he started just because someone stumbled. I was like, I got it.
Yeah. So basically, they think he's the biggest threat, and he's trying to warn them. Wanda dreamwalks, which basically is when you take over somebody's body in a different reality.
Your own body.
Your own body. Yeah, usually it's your own body in a different reality. So she dreamwalks. She first tries it the first time, but then, It is one of the people from earlier isn't dead that was fighting her.
One of the people at the Doctor Strange Comitage.
Yeah, and stops her. So she then destroys the book she has. So they have to go to the original place of evil, in which and they get there, and then she's able to do it again. A sanctum in which she finds out that she created the sanctum, and she created this whole place, and it's her throne to everything.
I'm not sure. I'm sure it's explained somewhere in the comics. We should also mention they do a flashback scene of the Doctor Strange in the new universe that they find themselves in, and what really happened to him. He didn't die defeating Thanos. Thanos did not kill him. So what happened in this universe, they actually beat Thanos. They killed him, but Doctor Strange was using the dark magic, so he's starting to turn evil. And they show Black Bolt's power, which, if no one knows it, is kind of cool. He can just say a word and he just like obliterates you because it's like so loud. Yeah. I'm not exactly sure the science behind it, but he speaks and like it reverberates off of you, and then
vibrations would kill you. That's why he has to use. This is where they messed up. Of one of the things that was so bad with what's it called? What was that? what is he? He's
an Inhuman.
Inhumans. Why the show messed up? They had him do sign language in the TV show. It's not supposed to be sign language. It's supposed to be him and his wife have a secret language that they use. Mm-hmm. It's not like they just. Marvel got lazy and just did sign language.
That's why
that wasn't it. That's not what it is, and any comic book reader would know. No, it's a secret language they use, and that's why he has to do it, because they find out at an early age if he speaks, he would literally kill everybody. He would just do so much damage.
But that's a pretty cool scene when they used it, and there's another cool scene with him too.
When she.
This is the first time Marvel has referenced the Inhumans in any capacity since that failure of a TV show.
Yeah, it shows.
I think it was the same actor too from the
TV
show.
It was because he was a good part. I think people were fine with the actors were okay. It was just like the direction of everything was just horrible, and they kind of just banked it. I don't know. They did this, bring it in, which I don't know if they're going to go back to Inhumans, because the reason they brought the Inhumans in was because at that time Marvel didn't own the X-Men. And wanted to do that, but now they own the X-Men, and they're like, well, do we really need the Inhumans?
I would bet this is probably the only time we'll see Black Bolt.
No.
I think because, they're going to
maybe a couple years down the line, once they run out, kind of are like, we'll just...
Because they got to worry about bringing in the Fantastic Four, the X-Men. I just don't think them adding on the Inhumans. They got to bring Miss Marvel in here.
All right, so eventually Wanda gets there in the new, and basically they all go out and fight her. She covers Black Bolt's, because they say he can kill you, and then she's like with the speaking his mouth, and then he's like, what mouth, and covers it, sick. And then he tries to say something.
Black Bolt freaks out because he has his mouth covered. He has no mouth, and then he freaks out, so he accidentally says something, and then the back of his head blows out. It's probably the most graphic kill you'll see in Marvel history. And public, because there's a lot going on, and a lot of
then kills Mr. Fantastic really quickly, of just separating his body
and then popping his head.
Yeah, and so it's then fights Marvel, beats those two, slicing Captain America through with the shield, having the statue fall onto Captain Marvel, and then finally they start running, because eventually after Doctor Strange and Mortar fight a little bit, and he ends up escaping, and the Dr. Palmer in this universe starts trusting, gets America Chavez, because realizes their threat, they can't stop Scarlet Witch, and at that point they just have to trust them and try and find this, because they actually know where the book is, because they used it and they have it locked up.
Right.
So
you forgot that Wanda also kills Professor X.
Oh yeah, and she goes into his head.
Yeah, well, Professor X goes into Wanda's head, and he finds the good half of Wanda that's still there. But while he's trying to save her, the bad version comes up from behind him and snaps his neck.
Yep, and kills. So she kills all of them pretty
Captain
America and Captain Marvel give her a fight, but
but still, you're talking about four of the strongest people there, and she handled them 5 minutes.
Yeah,
and after she does that. This is another horror homage Sam Raimi plays. Scarlet Witch is definitely looking a little bit like Carrie, if you ever seen that horror movie, because she's covered in blood. Mm-hmm. Just half her face, it looks almost exactly like it. So
they basically get to where the book is, and she ends up destroying the book.
Yeah.
And taking America Chavez and sending Doctor Strange and Dr. Palmer off into this other world. When they get there, they find this other world, and they meet this other Doctor Strange. Now, what happened in that time is also the Doctor Strange from 838 tried to go to other realities, universes, to find how to beat Thanos. Because he did this, and this is where they kind of are eliminating that element of why you can't just jump from world to world, and where it's dangerous is it causes, when you do that, and you do that a lot, it causes two realities to start going together, and it essentially will either destroy one reality or the next reality. So then you find this one guy, this other Doctor Strange, that was upset because he lost Dr. Palmer and loved her, and pretty much was trying to find a reality where he was with Dr. Palmer and could love her, where they can be together. And unfortunately could not find one, and the reality, he ended up destroying pretty much a whole reality, because he also used the book, the Darkhold. Yeah, Darkhold, and grew a third eye, which is also was shown from the Doctor Strange in the What If series, he also grows a third eye because he's trying to kill all the monsters, which ironically was also because he was trying to save Dr. Palmer and become strong enough that he could save Dr. Palmer and basically cheat death.
I gotta tell you, the third eye, I thought the CGI on the third eye was pretty rough at some points. It looked kind of bad.
Yeah.
Especially near the end of it. We'll talk about it, but at the end, I thought it was really bad. Really bad.
The next part was kind of interesting when they fight. The two Doctor Stranges fight each other.
Music notes. Yeah. They fight each other with literal music notes. It's kind of funny, but also kind of cool because it's how many times can you say, I saw people fight with music notes?
Yeah. And I think they did just that one scene and didn't try and keep doing it. It was just enough for one scene. If you kept doing it, I would have been like, okay, this is...
No, there's definitely a point of no return with that.
Yeah.
But no, I think he did it fine. It was fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so eventually beats him, and then he has to use a Darkhold to get to her. And from earlier, that Doctor Strange that dies at the beginning does end up in Aria in the 8-3. What number?
We're 616.
616. Earth, and he buried him.
Yeah.
They're like, well, how are you going to dreamwalk when there's no Doctor Strange in your universe? He's like, when there's no living one. He said, I never said anything about living. So he takes the one that's dead and resurrects. That part was kind of cool.
Yep. So we get Zombie Strange, and the CGI list is good. It's definitely much better than the third eye.
Oh yeah, and gets him pretty much all the way there, and all these demon things try and kill it, coming out for him because he's trying to resurrect something. And then it culminates into him getting there, fighting Wong, coming up there and helping fight. But they do it correct because, and I figured they would do this, but I thought they were going to do it a little differently. I thought originally America Chavez was going to use the book. They were going to have to use the book, and he was going to have to learn how to be okay, he can't be the hero. I need to allow America Chavez to save the day. Mm-hmm. And Wong's telling Doctor Strange, hey, you need to kill her and take her power so Wanda doesn't get it because she can't control it. Yeah. And at first she doesn't trust Doctor Strange because she thought all the other Doctor Strange, apparently several other Doctor Strange tried to do the same thing and lost every time. But at this point, she accepts, she kind of is if you have to, you have
she's
to.
She's like, I'm done with this.
She kind of accepts, this is what it is. I've tried. But he kind of realizes, no, she can control her power. And they give her a moment, which...
Just a little pep. He gives her, a kind of that Hawkeye pep talk.
Which I believe you and I both appreciate. She doesn't beat Wanda.
Yeah, I was going to
straight up. Because she couldn't. She really, it would have had to be I thought if she beats her, she would have had to use, Doctor Strange, Wong were helping her, and then she gets the final blow.
I was going to be... Because after Zombie Strange gives America Chavez her little pep talk, he says, go kick that witch blank. And then I thought, and I was going to be upset, because Scarlet Witch is OP right now.
Yeah, just killed the Illuminati.
I was she killed all these people. There's no way this girl who just got introduced to have beat Scarlet Witch. I was going to be upset, because I think that's a poor way to introduce a new character.
Yeah, I was you're making her too OP. But she is OP in the series because of her powers, but she can't control it yet.
Well, in the comics, she's not this overly powerful character. She just has this ability that's very useful. She can go to multiverses, but I don't think she's all that power. She does have power.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's
But I think I could see it when she gets older and can control it and can jump between realities and probably can figure out how to do that. Yeah. So what she does is very smart. Is she basically shows Wanda, goes to reality, goes back to 838, and shows Wanda how scared, shows Wanda, because I remember there was a line earlier that said, "What would your kids think if they knew you did this?" And she's like, "Well, they're never gonna know." But then she shows those kids, and they're also "You're gonna have to kill another Wanda. Can you live with that?" And she's like, "That's fine." She doesn't care. But then she shows the kids, has those kids so afraid of her because they see her as the monster, and she realizes she is the monster, which was very smart. I like that Sam Raimi of she figured out I can't beat her, but I can do this, and the kids are so scared of her. She realizes, she stops.
Yeah, her seeing that she is the monster to her kids made her kind of snap out of the hold or the control that the Darkhold had over her, and kind of brought the old Wanda back. And then she realizes the only way I can stop this evil magic is to destroy this I call it a building or whatever you want to call it. It's temple. Temple. That's a better word. So she destroys the temple, and it looks like she is dead. This is the end of Scarlet Witch. But as Marvel tradition, we didn't really see a body. There was no funeral like Iron Man. So I'm assuming she's gonna be back. And if you saw WandaVision, there's another version of Vision out there. So I don't see the point of bringing Vision back if you're just gonna kill Scarlet Witch off.
Okay. See, so I had a theory about this. I thought they did maybe kill her. This is why I theorized they killed her. So, with them having X-Men, and eventually, if you do X-Men and Magneto, you are going to introduce Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. Yeah. I felt maybe they killed her because I don't know when they're planning for X-Men. Probably it's going to come out 2025 or something. They didn't want to confuse fans of having two Scarlet Witches, so essentially you are going to have to kill her. Mm-hmm. So that people aren't confused when you have this next Scarlet Witch and it's like, wait, what? There's just to help with wait, what? Mutants, and you introduce the whole thing.
I'm just going to warn you, Sam Raimi and Kevin Feige, if you do kill a Scarlet Witch, you may have to look out for my wife. She may come after you. Oh,
she was not happy.
Because Scarlet Witch is one of her favorite characters. And, let's just say if she's truly dead, this movie's going to rank pretty low for her. Mm-hmm. So I know you'll never see the Sam Raimi, Kevin Feige, but I'm just putting it out there. Y'all better be careful.
Mm-hmm. So before we get into the final little cutscene, I kind of want to talk about where the possibilities of what you're because they opened it up a lot. Because now what had me wondering is, okay, since you introduced this multiverse, when you do Fantastic Four, when you do X-Men, are you going to have them in a different universe? Because you could do them, because essentially, the way I always looked at it, X-Men is basically its own universe.
Right, yeah.
And just introducing the concept of mutants, I feel it might be easier to do in a different universe, because then we're going to wonder, where have the mutants been all this time? Right. Or I think it might be easier just to introduce, are you going to, Fantastic Four can be in this universe, but maybe you do the X-Men is going to be based in Earth 38 or something.
I think they're going to make them be in our universe, but I think what could happen is that they bring them from another universe to ours, Because eventually I think they're going to do this thing where all the heroes are fighting the multiverse versions of themselves. Because there's a comic book storyline, I forget what it's called, Secret Wars or something like that, where it's pretty much that concept.
Yeah.
So I think that could be a way they introduce them and bring them to the MCU universe. Mm-hmm. Because you're right. If they just bring the X-Men randomly in Fantastic Four, you're like, where the heck have you been? We were fighting Thanos. Where were you? We could have used you.
You're going to have to explain that. Because they're in New York. X-Men are supposed to be the same with them. It's okay, Spider-Man, how have I not seen you this whole time? Unless they're going to, it's just how you have to finagle all of that.
I think they had to bring them in from another universe, and then they get stuck in ours or something like that.
Yeah, because that would be interesting, especially because I think also if you put them in their own, you then give yourself more leeway of I don't have to explain all these other events.
Right, and you don't have to worry about, hey, why are they not teaming up with the Avengers?
Yeah, we're not in that universe.
But it would be cool to see that too.
Yeah, it would be cool, which I'm fine if they finally, but I think at first I would I'd put X-Men. You can put Fantastic Four in this universe.
I think so.
That's a small. But
I think that would be easier.
Yeah, the X-Men I think should get its own universe, and then you bring them in because there's so much. Honestly, it would be great to see all of them because Wolverine isn't an Avenger. Wolverine's one of the bigger Avenger characters. But I feel X-Men has so much lore and story to it.
And they got their own great villains they could do,
Yeah, they got all theirs. I'm still waiting for a great... Okay, Marvel, we need to talk about this. Apocalypse. Let's do this right, buddy.
Yeah.
Let's do this right, all right? This is the big bad guy. The love you gave to Thanos, for me, I Thanos pales in comparison to Apocalypse. I need this done right.
I'm going to get my curse out of the way because that shit you gave us in X-Men Apocalypse, that was trash.
3 movies. That's or if you want to do what you did with Thanos and you introduce him and little by little I see clips, but I want a Rise of Apocalypse movie, which you can do in old times. It's easy. Stories out there.
We've talked about it for years. And you got to do Mr. Sinister.
Oh yeah, don't try and not do Mr. Sinister. It doesn't make sense.
He's kind of important to the character.
Yeah, it's literally who it is. It's a very crucial part to who Apocalypse is, Mr. Sinister. I would be like, what? That's like doing Galactus and not doing Silver Surfer. What?
Could you imagine they make Galactus a planet? Who would do that?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So Marvel, fix all the mistakes other studios made. Thank you.
Learn. Take your time.
But they could. So I agree with you. Of X-Men, that'd be kind of hard to introduce. Like, where are you? But Fantastic Four, you could, because they just had their accident in space, and then boom, that's where they're at.
True. Or you can take what the new one did is they went to a different realm or something. And that's how they got their power. Which was an interesting concept too. Granted, they just failed in a lot of other places. But
that new one was worse than their old ones.
Yeah,
I don't know how they did that.
I don't know. It's a good cast too. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's interesting. Because part of me was like just thinking about what did they just open up with the multiverse of like.
Dude, there's so much stuff they could do. I mean, there's so much. And now eventually they will have to stop the multiverse stuff because eventually it's going to be a bit much. But I mean, the thing, the Infinity War saga was what 20. How many movies were it? 20-some?
26.
So this could run another 20-some movies, which I doubt they probably won't because they've been doing less movies in this phase than the other ones. But be prepared to deal with multiverses about 5 more years or so.
I heard we might not also get like a traditional Avenger style like the other ones. These might be more solo, which I get because how Spider-Man ended. Like, I feel like they're all scaling it. Like everybody's doing their own thing right now.
Yeah, they probably want to tone down the universe shattering stuff to the bigger movies. You can't have all these movies be into the universe and all that kind of deal.
I don't know. I liked it. I did like it. I enjoyed it.
Now if you ask me, did you like Spider-Man more? Yeah.
Yes,
I did like Spider-Man more.
Yeah. But this was good. I think they've done pretty well with Doctor Strange because being a more out there character. And then the villain, the person they introduced at the very end in the mid-credits scene.
I gotta tell you, at my movie theater, I heard multiple people said, "Who the is that?"
All I know is when I looked it up, somebody said that's supposed to be in one of the comic books. That's who he marries.
Yeah. When I looked it up, I saw that too.
Because they were trying to end, like at the end when you see him in the 838 Palmer, they kind of, I think, were putting a kibosh on. Okay, this is the end of you and Dr. Palmer.
Because she's married in his universe, so
steal her.
So at the end, but at the very end, before we get to that big credit scene, like we said, Doctor Strange had to use the Darkhold to save the day, help save the day. And at the end of the day, we think everything's fine and dandy. He's, walking out with his regular clothes, and he stops in the middle of the street, and then out comes the third eyeball, just like in the other Doctor Strange he saw. And again, the CGI, at least these last 2 scenes, I don't know if it was because they filmed them after the fact and reshot them, but the CGI is terrible in his third eye. I hope they don't have to use it much because it's rough.
They're gonna have to put it when they do the next one.
I know.
They might fix it by then.
I hope they just do it.
Because it'll be a whole movie with him probably or more with the third eye.
So it looks like the next Doctor Strange movie will be in the Dark Dimension, which is probably will write him off of being involved in the other movies coming out soon because he's not going to be around. So
yeah.
And I think that's probably a good choice because he's been in Spider-Man. He's been in a lot, so I think he's kind of taken over the Iron Man role of being in all these other movies.
And I think because this is why I'm saying like with the Avengers, I don't think they're going to do Avengers because it seems like they're doing like Spider-Man, we're downscaling. Like at the end of Spider-Man, we're downscaling him, so he's not, and they don't remember who he is, so he's not going to be in the Avengers. Doctor Strange is now in this. Probably at Ant-Man, we're probably going to see something with the quantum realm to explain. Why are they all separate? And I think Captain Marvel, when you do the Marvels and all that, she's probably going to be doing something. So it's going to probably explain, why haven't they been together for so long?
Yeah, it's probably going to be a while till we get that big team-up movie.
I don't know. Good movie.
Right, movie to Spider-Man, you asked me to rate it 1 out of 10, and I said 8.5. This was probably in the 7.5 to 8 range, I would say.
I will say it was one of the better villains. Because for a while Marvel you couldn't do a good villain.
Dude, Scarlet Witch. I mean, I'm telling you, we kind of undersold this. She caused us some damage. In this movie.
This is fully on.
And we've been waiting for this because, like I said, we watch the comics, we know all this stuff, and we know how bad she can be, and we're just waiting for it. Because when she was introduced, she didn't really use her powers because she didn't know them. She wasn't, trained enough. So we've seen it slowly get better and better with it. And if this Scarlet Witch had met Thanos, If he didn't have that gauntlet on, it might have been trouble for him.
I mean, even with that gauntlet, I think she still would have. She would have done some damage. She would have come out.
He would have needed all the stones. That
She would have. So good job. And then interested in where they go with America Chavez's character, because obviously you introduced her, and she's at the temple.
Yeah.
So she's gonna have some mystic part to. She's gonna have some mystic thing to her.
At the end, we see her training with the other students of the Comitage. So that looks to be the route they're going. They may be taking a slow burn with her, because like I said, she's a younger character and younger actress. So they may eventually do. It looks like they're setting up maybe a young Avenger kind of type of deal, and she could be part of that.
All in all, I'll probably do an 8 for the movie.
Yeah.
8.5. Again, was it Spider-Man? No. Was it the Batman? No. But it was still good. Alright, so thank you so much. Let us know your thoughts on the movie. Again, my name's Legacy.
My name's Max.
Don't forget to follow us, like, subscribe, notifications, all that fun stuff.
And we'll see y'all at the Thor.
Okay.